In today's episode 4, I'm going to fly another Boeing 767 that flies on domestic routes in Japan. Let's check out Japan Airlines and their domestic business class. Welcome to another episode of my Japan Aviation Series. Good morning and welcome to another little flight review. I'm at Tokyo's Haneda Terminal 2 because I'm gonna fly JAL, Japan Airlines, on a domestic route, and the best thing, it's gonna be on a Boeing 767-300, one of my favorite aircraft. I quite like Haneda Airport. It has a lot of things to do, so you will never get bored. But now it's time to find the check-in for JAL. To check in for my flight, I had to use one of these self-check-in counters, and if I had bags to drop off, I would need to drop off them back there on these machines, which look pretty fancy, I would say. But the funny thing is, I booked the so-called Class J, and I thought it was like a domestic business class. However, I was not eligible to use the business class check-in. I actually didn't see one, to be honest. And I have no lounge access, I have no fast-track security, but I do have a business class seat. So it's a kind of, not sure how to call it, a hybrid business economy class experience. To be honest, I'm not quite sure what to expect today, but we will find out. Oh, I forgot to mention I'm flying to Fukuoka today. That's going to be around 1.5 or 2 hour flight. I'm through security, and I must admit, I think Japan has the most friendly security staff. Take that, India. Maybe I'm exaggerating a bit, but in Japan it's almost a pleasure to go through security. To be honest, it's just that they are smiling, they're very helpful, they treat your valuables and your bags with care and with respect. It's just another world. I think I start loving Japan. This is one of 3 priority pass lounges, and they seem to be operated and called by the pretty cool name Power Lounge. I've been in one before, and they only serve drinks though, so there are no snacks. Bear in mind about that if you are planning to do the same as me. The view from the lounge is pretty good, and I could easily spend a couple of hours in here, as long as I'm not hungry. Since we are in Terminal 2 at Haneda Airport, the main actors rolling around are Japan Airlines aircraft. And besides the Boeing 767, which I am about to go to board, an Airbus A350 also parked in front of the lounge. I will fly a JAL A350 on a domestic route in episode 6 of this Japan Aviation Series. Consider subscribing to my channel not to miss it. That was a pleasant little break, but now let's go to the gate. I mean, I'm still 1 hour early, but I'm too excited to see the Boeing 767 of Japan Airlines. Let's see if it's already there. Here we have a JAL Boeing 767, but it's not mine, unfortunately. But that's basically how my ride today is gonna look like. That looks like a nice place. I found my gate, but the aircraft is not here yet. And here we have the confirmation it's gonna be a Boeing 767-300. Here comes my ride, the Japan Airlines Boeing 767-300. And you know what's the best thing? It does not have winglets. Well, I guess it's an off-geek thing to be excited about no winglets. I feel like a kiddo in a candy store. I see it's boarding time shortly, so let's find out how the domestic business class, or Class J, is gonna be like. Even with my domestic business class or Class J ticket, I have no priority boarding, which is reserved for One World status holder or Japan Airlines different status holder. To me it seems this Class J is only the business class seat that you pay for. I mean, the surcharge compared to economy class was also very little, $25. So I understand that they would not include a lounge and everything, fast lane and so on. Eventually it was boarding time, and I'm excited to fly the Boeing 767-300 today. During my time here in Japan, I have noticed that the Japanese are very, very efficient in boarding. A fully booked Boeing 767 is boarded within 10 minutes. I haven't seen that anywhere else before. Hello. 11 Alpha. Yes. The very first row looks like a domestic first class with a rare 212 seat arrangement. Behind is the domestic business class, or also called JAL Class as mentioned earlier, which is in this 222 seat layout. Welcome aboard the Japan Airlines Boeing 767. Here we have the legroom. As expected, it's a very generous legroom. And even the foot space is good, although I have my bag down there, but otherwise nothing to complain about that. The windows are currently kept closed, I guess, to keep the heat out. The cabin looks very well booked, and I'm not sure if there was a single seat available. Overhead I have individual reading lights, but no air fans. Here we have the safety card of the Boeing 767. And the welcome on board was super friendly. I'm almost getting used to that here in Japan.
Lift the buckle to unfasten the seat. Please turn them off or set them to airplane mode.
We are rolling and on our way to Fukuoka. We are currently in the departure queue, so while we wait, maybe I show you what we have in the seat pocket. The safety card you saw already. Then I have this Wi-Fi service explanation. Something about Tokyo Disneyland. Safety card, and then this seems to be in-flight magazine. We'll check it out later. And then we have the shopping magazine and a bunch of sickness bags. Oh, and here we have one of my favorite airlines in Japan, Starflyer. Check out my video about them after this one. Our departure runway today, 16 right.
Also, please return your seat back.
What a view! We are up in the air, so let's finish the sea tour. Here we have a coat hook, I think it is. Yeah, and the seat pocket you have seen already, and I think there are some power sockets between the seat. Here they are. Looks like USB socket, and not sure if it's also electricity, I can't see it from here. And on my right side I have this, it looks like a small IFE control and the headphone socket. On my left armrest I find the seat control levers. Here we have the footrest adjustment. And this must be the backrest adjustment. So the seat recline is very minimal. Maybe it's because I'm in the last row, but I don't see all the seats reclining more than that. And also on my left armrest, I think this is the table. Yeah. and the timing is good as the service card has just reached my row. So let's see what Japan Airlines offers on a domestic JAL class. I was presented a drinks menu and I went for the cold green tea. So it seems it's a thing to be served only drinks on domestic flights in Japan, even in business class. So far I have done a couple of flights within Japan and I was never served any meals, but what I noticed, nobody is bringing along meals, so nobody's eating on the plane takeaway meals, and that's something I find quite different if I compare it to Europe. When I go on an EasyJet flight or on a Ryanair flight or even on some so-called full-service carriers, people bring their own sandwich, burger, chips and so on, which I have not noticed here. Let's quickly check the in-flight magazine if they offer any purchasable food. Skyward is the name of the in-flight magazine. So let's check it out. Oh, I'd love to try out that one. Well, here we have the route map. Feel free to pause if you want to see something more closer. The fleet overview. But I did not see any purchasable items for eating. Maybe in the shopping magazine. Yeah, it's more purchasable goods and merchandise. Best to eat something before the flight. How do you like the mood lighting? I think it's quite pleasant. Let's have a look at the in-flight Wi-Fi, if there is any. Connecting to the in-flight Wi-Fi was straightforward, and I see we are just above Osaka. It's a bit hazy, but you can even see Osaka Kansai Airport. We have started our descent towards Fukuoka, and maybe it's a good time to provide a brief summary. The hard product, which means the seat, is quite comfortable. It's in a 2-2-2 layout, so it's not the most generous business class. However, they don't really call it business class. Maybe it's more something like domestic premium economy class. Anyway, on the ticket it said business class. That's why I'm calling it like that. But officially it's called Class J. The service, as you saw, there was no food, there was only a drinks service, but this seems to be normal in Japan. The crew is super lovely, very nice and smiling, so quite enjoyable. Overall, I would say, especially considering the quite small surcharge for my economy class, it was absolutely worth it. I paid roughly $140 US. So I think it's not too bad for an almost 2-hour flight within Japan. So therefore, I can recommend Japan Airlines, the Boeing 767 in Japan for a domestic flight. Maybe I should also mention that there is no personal IFE screen, so make sure you have something to read or to watch from home. And the IFE control that I had on my right armrest, I think it's for music only. On the other hand, I also have no headphones provided. And my personal headphone, I'm not sure if it would fit in here because it's a 2-plug system. So in terms of in-flight entertainment, make sure you can entertain yourself. Said that, filming for a flight review is an entertainment that keeps me busy throughout almost the entire flight. I love this hobby. The seatbelt sign is on as we have started our descent towards Fukuoka. I will have a connection there and it's going to be another Boeing 767. Which airline? Well, consider subscribing to my channel to find out in episode 5 of my Japan Aviation Series. It's rare nowadays to have a winglet-less wing. Wow, what an approach. one big city. Wow! Considering the size of the city, the airport somewhat seems pretty small. Welcome to Fukuoka, home of Noriko Furukawa. That was quite an impressive approach and landing. Thank you for watching so far into the video, and I hope to see you next time again. I'm about to disembark now, but in the meanwhile, till next time, bye for now.